After we have created the configuration and downloaded it to the CPU, if we go back to Simatic Manager and open up the subgroup of this station, we see that there's a subgroup called CPU 315 2DP that has been created for us. If we open up the subgroup of this CPU, we see that we have the S7 program folder in here. And in the subgroup of the S7 program, we have two other folders named Sources and Blocks. We have not had these subgroups and folders in here before. However, after compiling the configuration, they were created for us here. So, we started at test 1, and then we entered a station. However, all the other folders here have been created automatically after completing the configuration. In the structure of our project, the last folder is the Blocks folder. If we click on that, its components are displayed in the right-hand side window, as you can see. We have a System Data folder and an OB1 folder here. OB stands for Organization Block. OB1 is the main programming environment in Step 7, and we can write our desired program for the PLC in this block. In order to open the programming environment, we double-click on OB1. If it is the first time we've opened this block, this Properties window opens. That helps us make a selection of settings for the OB1. For instance, we can consider a symbolic name for this block in this section, or add some comments about this module in the next field, or we can select our desired programming language before entering the programming environment in here. By hitting OK, this window closes and we enter OB1, or the so-called programming environment. Here is another Step 7 subprogram. We have been working with 3 of the Step 7 subprograms so far. The first one was hardware, in which we created the configuration. After that, we activated the PLC simulator and downloaded the configuration to it. And now, we've entered the programming environment in order to write our program. Therefore, by using Simatic Manager, we're opening Step 7 subprograms one by one and managing our program for completion. As you can see, OB1 has 3 main sections. This left-hand side box is Program Elements. All the elements that we need for programming are here in these folders. For instance, we have timers in here, we have counters in this section, and we have bit logic commands in this folder. In order to use these commands and elements, we need to transfer them to this main box here and install them on the lines of the program. This process is relatively easy. First, we need to select the desired line and then double-click on the element that we want so that it appears on this line. The box we have here is called the Declaration Table. The parameters and local variables related to the block are in here. These are the variables whose values are valid only in this block, and we cannot use them outside of this environment. These variables are used in rather advanced programming discussions. For example, discussions related to error handling. In this section, we have the menus, each of which has different options. We're going to become familiar with these options while programming, and we're going to learn the application of each of them. This section is the toolbar. It includes practical programming elements. For example, we have this normally open contact element in here, and a normally closed contact and coil element in here. By clicking on each of them, as you can see, we can enter them very easily into the programming lines. So far, we have entered a few elements in here. However, as you can see, each of these elements has a few question marks in red. Now, what do these red question marks show us? They tell us that the elements we have placed here are lacking an address, and we need to consider a specific address for each of them. In order to enter the address, we can click on these question marks and enter the desired address for each element in this box. But how can we do this? What format are we supposed to use for the addressing? In the next lesson, we learn how to address elements in the programming environment in full detail.